You can't have a small penis and carry an umbrella. A sun umbrella.
On a hike.
On a hike. The whole day.
Hello and welcome back to the Friday Feels episode of the You Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. We love a Friday Feels. This is to kick off your weekend, to help you put your brain on the shelf and forget about the ills of the world and of your life.
We have. And guess what? You know, some people complain that this episode doesn't come out on Sunday anymore. They preferred it out on Sunday.
People are talking?
I have a little secret for you guys. You can listen to this episode whenever you want.
Whoa.
If you want to listen to it on
sassy
Sunday.
Jordana. If you want to listen. That's how you're feeling.
That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling sassy.
Yeah, you're right.
I want to let them know that you don't, just because it comes out on Friday. Some people, I get it. You have a Sunday ritual. We're part of your Sunday ritual.
Right.
I appreciate that. But the episode isn't coming out after Sunday. It's coming out before Sunday.
Where are you reading these things?
You could save it. I read
TMZ reporting?
I read everything.
You do read everything.
I read it all.
Nothing.
I read the comments.
I read the YouTube comments.
There's Spotify comments now. We get a lot of Spotify comments too.
Oh, yeah. You can comment on Spotify.
Yeah, I read the Apple
Spotify
reviews.
hosts shut those off.
Yeah?
I listen to some podcasts where they don't allow it.
Why?
We're here. We're people of the people.
I like feedback. I think that's fair feedback. I just think it's a little silly because you can listen whenever you want to listen.
It's fair. I do understand the idea of like opening up the gift and then there it is waiting for you on Christmas morning.
You don't want it early.
You don't want it early, right? It's not fun to get a gift on December 22nd. You want it on December 25th. Yeah. You want to run down the stairs in your PJs.
Listen, I get it. You see an episode of ours come out. You cannot wait.
Can't wait.
You must listen immediately.
It's tough.
flattering.
I am a podcast listener big time. Mm-hmm. You do have your days of the week set up with certain episodes. I do understand that, but things change. People change. This is for the better. We want to find more people just like you. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can like and comment and let us know what you think of the episode.
Comment on YouTube because those are the only comments Jared reads.
I am prowling.
Yes.
The comment section of YouTube. So, and if you're out there, I'm on the road in Australia right now. Wild. Yes. So if you live in Australia.
Already a few shows down, right?
A few shows down. This comes out on Friday. If you're in Australia, I am in.
It's already the last day of February.
It's already, February goes by in a flash. I'm going to be in Sydney, Newcastle, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth. Then I'm coming back to Rochester, New York, Nashville, Tennessee. But also, this comes out on the day of one of my shows, but I don't even know what day it is there. Melbourne.
Who knows?
So if you're in Melbourne, I've been known as the Boston of Australia.
Is it yesterday in Australia or is it tomorrow in Australia?
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I'll love ya. Tomorrow.
Got Broadway.
That was Broadway.
Mr. Broadway.
Mr. Broadway.
That was pretty good. You have some, what's the word?
The vibrato. I can bring it. If I hit that right spot.
Impressive.
Too high, too low, I lose it.
Were you in the school play?
I was in the choir.
Okay, not the play.
No.
Too
I'm
theater
not a fancy
nerd
boy. I'm a singer.
I feel like you would have you like to act too. Though.
I would have liked it. I never got into it. It was theater kids closed off. You can't really start that late. I feel like you're either
too much of a bro.
Out. That's right. I was too busy fucking.
Theater kids fuck.
No, theater kids fuck. No, they were fucking way more than me.
I think more than anyone.
You're right. No. That is definitely fucking more than me.
Yeah.
But no, I did. I sang. I did choir.
Yeah.
Middle school, I did the extra choir.
We called it the special chorus when I went to high school.
I don't think they allow that these days. I think it's the honors choir.
They called it the special chorus. I was not. I do not have a good voice, so I was not involved in any of that. No.
I like to sing. If I can hit that note, I have the delusion. I'll there's certain songs where I can hit one note, and I think I do it perfectly, but I can't do the rest of the song.
Tomorrow might be one of your top ones.
Tomorrow I'll be in Australia to fuck you.
Who?
If there's a woman out there.
Someone out there? Okay,
yeah,
wow. Well, you made her feel very special.
A young lassie. Is that what they call about
So
there?
you're single.
We'll see. Maybe someone captured my heart down under.
Maybe
this is my
Well,
rom-com.
this brings me to my game because we were talking about your sweatshirt, which is shout you
Joe
wanna do
Beef.
Plug City for
Joe
Montreal.
Beef, yeah, Montreal. Joe Beef was a great restaurant experience, a total restaurant experience. If you go visit, tough to get a table supposedly, but Joe Beef, not a great
Not
name.
for this guy
Not for me,
Yeah.
Jared Broadway Freed.
Yes.
I can get a table.
with those pipes.
These So, yeah, I went to Joe Beef. It was great, wonderful.
Yeah.
Loved Montreal.
Yeah, I mean, I told you I haven't been in a long time, but I would go back. You definitely sell it well.
Yeah.
And I was asking you about like the cost. We were talking before we started the show, and I was asking you about the cost of living because you were saying it
Yes.
had great vibes, and I was like, is it an expensive city? Like, what's the deal with it?
$1.40 per dollar or something like that. The exchange
In our
is
favor,
crazy.
in our
Yeah.
American favor.
We're
yes.
killing it.
Yeah, because we were talking about because you've been everywhere. And you know a lot of cities, you know
Yes.
their vibes, and you had great things to say about Tacoma.
Tacoma, so that's my like underrated, like you can get more for your dollar type of place. I know
Right.
it's gotten more expensive over the years. Like someone there's like, no, you wouldn't believe the house prices.
It's all relative.
It's all relative.
Sure.
I'm just saying, for me, you share an airport with Seattle. It's called SeaTac, Seattle Tacoma Airport. So you have major airport. You have the water views that they have in Seattle. Everyone in Seattle gives you shit because they think it's like, lesser than. I don't believe that. I think it's actually like, there's a thing, the Tacoma aroma, where it supposedly smells. It doesn't smell. I've been there. It's
Tacoma's
just,
biggest fan. Or
I am the number one Tacoma guy on earth, I think. Because they've all been convinced. It's a little bit like you are a product of your surroundings.
Right.
Because like the Seattle people talk so down on it that like they probably don't know how to.
They're
here
insecure,
to speak
yeah.
for the people that
The
can't speak for
underdog.
themselves, right?
Yeah.
There's a few places like that I would go to. Raleigh.
Right. Well, that brings me to my
Yeah.
question. I'll throw those into there.
Please.
So I wanted to know, like, because you're just talking about Australia. Let's say you met someone there. Let's say you're in a relationship with someone. You're right before you're gonna propose.
Okay.
You're in deep.
I'm in deep. It's like we're
You're
gonna
in.
getting
Yeah.
married. Yeah.
Or you're in. But they pull this on you. They've been thinking about this a lot. I haven't talked about it that much in the relationship. I'd really like to move back to my hometown, which is X.
Okay.
I'm going to call this game Pack or Pass, as in you're packing up your stuff and you're headed to wherever they live.
Okay.
Or Pass, you are going to break up and be alone. So I'm going to give you like a few different cities.
Would I end the relationship having to move? So for them, they're like, you move with me or we break up.
Or I can't. That's where I want to start a family.
Okay.
With someone.
So name a place. Would I go or not? Would I break up the love of my life? I waited 40 years.
Yes.
And this
Finally found her.
Okay. And they mentioned that we have to move to this city. Will I end it?
Yes. Okay.
City or town?
Could be anywhere. All right. Chicago.
I'm moving.
You're in. In. Okay. San Diego.
In. Have you been to San
look at
Diego?
you. So flexible.
Oh my God. San Diego?
Into-
I'm in love in San Diego. The best weather in the
Okay.
entire world.
Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
You might be blacklisted from Buffalo.
Buffalo, we already have our thing.
She's like, I need to move home to Buffalo.
Here's the problem with Buffalo. You're taxed as a New Yorker.
You're telling this to her.
I would say to her,
Here's the
we
problem.
get nothing.
Okay.
We pay the highest
Niagara
taxes.
Falls. We'll go all the time.
American side's the worst side. The Canadian side's nice. The American side looks like
It's an hour from Toronto, isn't it? Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you would
half
go to,
a second.
They're so close.
It doesn't matter.
Buffalo, you're out.
Someone
Toronto,
from Buffalo
you're...
is like, the taxes in Toronto aren't much better, but at least I'm in like one of the best cities in the world, food wise.
Okay.
Buffalo wings, yeah, I can get wings
Buffalo,
anywhere.
you're gonna be single again.
Buffalo, the problem there also is like the people.
You're like, I don't even know if I can marry someone from there.
They're so self-conscious. They can't just say, like, everyone from Buffalo, do you like Buffalo? I've talked about this here before.
That's probably because you're always talking shit about it.
No, because this is what they do. You have to, like, I don't know. They're just, I pray for Buffalo.
Pray for
Yeah, I wish them the best.
Bless their heart.
Bless their heart. I want Buffalo to win a Super Bowl just so they'll shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
They're taxed like New Yorkers, but live out there.
Okay.
And the weather, a snowstorm in Buffalo could happen just like that.
Yeah, I had a sister who went to Buffalo, so I went there for
Why
her
would she do that?
graduation.
Oh, okay. She went to university at
yes.
Buffalo. They had to do that different thing. Yeah, they couldn't be University of Buffalo, University at Buffalo.
I guess that's I don't even know that. And it was her graduation weekend in May, and it fucking snowed.
Right.
While I was there.
Bad weather, and she's not a good student. She could
tell-
only get into Buffalo.
Won't tell her you said that.
Sorry. Let's do another city.
All right, let's see. Where else do we have? Who else can we offend? Des Moines.
No. Absolutely not.
Out on
One of
Des
the
Moines.
worst comedy weekends I've ever had in the history of comedy.
So you wouldn't go there because no one would think you were funny there.
It's not that they didn't think I was funny.
Okay.
It was that they were so hammered that you could like barely do a show.
Okay.
It's not Des Moines. I love you.
Not for you. Park
I'll
City.
get my crab rangoon pizza elsewhere.
Park City.
Yeah,
Your go.
Park City's beautiful.
Reluctantly go.
And here's why Park City. They don't have the same liquor laws as Utah. Like
Okay.
Salt Lake has this like strict laws, and then they made different rules for Park City because actual normal
Right.
human beings go there. So
Non-Mormons.
yeah, none. So
You're gonna fit in so well.
I think we're gonna lose the whole show today.
yeah. The whole audience.
Keep them coming.
Austin.
Yeah, I'd move to Austin. It's actually like Austin. I think I would. It would be tough to deal with the people.
Again. Yeah.
It's not the people of Austin as much as it's just the millennials that moved there that have to apologize for their life and why they moved there and how they made the correct decision. They have to convince you that they made the right decision with their life. They left their family. It's like you were horrible at home. You moved here to be horrible here. It's not working out. Oh, we could have told you that before you moved.
But
It
if
wasn't
she's
your
a
family.
she's
It
a
was
native
you.
Austinian.
Right. I would move to Austin.
What about Houston?
I'd move to Houston. It's just a huge city. You could move to Houston and you could be 2 hours from Houston.
Okay.
Like so I don't even know where I'd be moving, but it would be fine. Like Houston to me is any town USA. There's no personality there. There's no culture there. I'm gonna lose I'm just saying like Houston, like I know there's culture, but I'm just saying like it is so spread out
Right.
that like where would I go? I'd go to like, some street with a Walmart.
But you would
on it.
go
It'd be
for the
same.
love of your
Yeah,
life.
it'd be fine.
Okay. Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love Atlanta.
All right. I think I've got
No
it.
notes on Atlanta.
So it sounds like everywhere but Des Moines and Buffalo.
Right.
That's pretty accommodating.
Everywhere but Des Moines and Buffalo, and but I would be hated in most of these cities with my opinions that I waltzed into town with.
Right. Well, are you okay being hated?
I'm okay.
In your hometown
I guess
city?
so. If
Yeah.
I'm known as the guy in the corner who, won't, says Houston has no has no family here. I don't know. I'm trying to think of place because when I go to places, I'm always like, I could see how it would happen.
Right.
Like there's no place they're like, I'm sorry, we don't have the New York City, the Empire State Building. I'm like, yeah, you're not New York. It's
Right.
okay.
You get it. Yeah.
Everywhere is not New York.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that makes New York good. I'm just saying it's just different.
Cleveland.
I'd move to Cleveland. I could see a suburban life. I like that Cleveland, like those Midwestern cities have like streets that like you could live on that are like suburban city things. Like you could like, I don't know. They like St. Louis kind of has that. Cleveland has that. Minnesota has that.
So
where
you
it's
move
like
all those places.
you could be living an urban lifestyle while also touching suburb, touching grass.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, but I mean, Love is Blind is not helping that. It's very
No.
insular.
It's making you feel like you'd be an outsider.
Yeah, I would definitely be an outsider.
But your wife is from there.
And she would bring me into whatever,
Yeah.
circle she has, but I'd definitely be the weirdo who talks a lot. That's what they refer to Jews as.
Love it.
Is there a city you wouldn't go to?
Wouldn't go to.
I could name a few.
I don't like Syracuse. For some reason, I always think of that as like the worst city.
I can't believe that.
Really?
Syracuse is tough. Not
Also
great
cold,
weather.
middle of nowhere. At least Buffalo is like close to Toronto.
Yeah, but I'm not moving to Buffalo to go to Toronto. I don't even think I would do that. I think once you go to these towns, you're in. Like,
Right. I guess that's part of the deal.
would you move to Florida?
Yeah.
Anywhere.
I love the sun.
You do love the sun.
Anywhere with like a good weather, I do think that would be a factor. I would be reluctant to move to Chicago because
of the weather,
of the winter weather. Summer, it's lovely.
I mean, I honestly think winter here is like not that far away from Chicago. I think it gets overblown for Chicago. I think because it's like cold, but I don't know. It's cold. It's dark and cold everywhere in the Northeast.
That's true. Yeah, I'm not one
Detroit.
to talk. I don't think so.
I'd go to Detroit.
You'd go to Detroit?
I know.
Oh, your
my
mom's
from
from
there.
Detroit.
I
Okay.
kind of understand
Yeah.
where I would go. I'd go to like Royal Oak or Birmingham.
I mean, I guess for the right person, would I go to Detroit?
Right. This is the game. Is
I guess.
like you're in love.
Yeah, I mean,
And
for the
Mike's
right,
like,
if
I
the
got the
person,
opportunity of the century.
the right
We're moving
person,
to Troy.
listen, if it's the person, I would probably go almost anywhere.
Here's the.
I would be like resentful, but I would go.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
I think about it every day.
I'd never let him forget it.
Yes, but
That's the thing. Do I want that? Like,
well, you'd be the one going, so you'd be the
Right.
one having to resent them.
I just don't want to have kids who their whole personality is where I moved from.
Oh, like they keep talking about how their dad is from New York.
Right. Like,
Oh, those people are the worst.
The worst. Like, you meet these people all the time where it's like, yeah, like, where are you from? They're like, my parents moved from Queens, but I live in Cleveland. You're like, so you're from Cleveland?
I was
that
born in
what
New
you
York
meant to
City.
say?
I was there until I was 2.
This is that is the king of worst people.
Yeah.
And it's immediate like, oh, where are you from? New York City. I was born in New York City. Oh, really? Oh, so you grew up in the city?
No.
I grew up. Well, I went to school in New Jersey. So that means you're
Elementary school.
right. You're from fucking New Jersey. This is something like I don't know. Like I don't think like I'm not smart. Like I'm no
Yeah.
Ivy Leaguer.
Okay.
I just think people think they're smart, like they're pulling a fast one. Anytime someone
Right.
says, I was born in New York City, but I went to school in Long Island, New Jersey, it is a front for this weird
It's insecurity.
insecurity
Yeah.
you have for having a normal life.
Or it's like it's supposed to be like it's what they think seems like a flex.
It's like a coolness. No, but I'm saying they don't want to
right.
be basic. I am as basic as suburban basic can get.
As my Long
Right.
Island born and bred. Now I'm back.
Right. You're back. Hometown. Never left home. Like, I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, I'm from a suburb. Like, you can do whatever you want with that. It
Right.
is weird, though, when people tell you things without telling you things.
Would you say you're from outside of Boston?
Yeah.
That's
I'm from
what you'd
outside
say?
of Boston.
Yeah.
I would say outside of Boston, and if someone was from there, I'd go Needham.
Would you move back to Needham?
I would. I have that, like,
You would.
weird dream. There was a moment, there was a moment where the radio station there was, like, kind of looking for new people. And there was
about it.
maybe an opportunity, like, they were, like, looking to, like, update what they did.
Okay.
And I was like, maybe that would be cool. Like, you get a
There's
chance
one
to...
radio station?
The one radio station in our one podunk town.
Needham
It was
Times.
like a big station. And they were like, hey, we're kind of thinking of changing things up here. Would you be like maybe the morning? Would you ever have an interest? Mm-hmm. And this was like said very casually.
Okay.
And I was like, and then you get to dream. And I was like, that would be cool. Like if I could like somehow modernize the radio thing where it's like a daytime show, but it also goes up as a podcast.
Right.
And then I could travel from Boston and go on the road and so I could stay national with a podcast that goes everywhere. Like there's shows so I was like, you get to the point of like dreaming. You're like, oh, that would be cool. That I
Be
could
the
like,
hometown hero.
I could go home. I could get like a house,
Steady job.
steady job,
Right.
and
And then
do the road.
Why didn't you do it?
It disappeared. It wasn't an offer.
Oh, okay.
It was like a.
But you had a second where you like envisioned
you have a second where you like
life.
envision
Yeah,
your life.
Right, yeah.
You're like, oh, that would be like simpler.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a part of growing up is like, especially in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
you start here, you can like lay on on a bunch of other 20-year-olds like cats, and you live like you live, and then you get a little older, you go, I'd like to not, share a closet with someone,
Yeah.
and then you either
Want
like
more space, yeah.
right, and you make a decision between, okay, can I move to like a more comfortable place, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for, like. I've said
Right.
this before.
Like,
Like
make it work here,
and then you kind of see how long you can take it. It's like older rich people and young people who are motivated who live in
Right.
New York City. So like, there's not a lot of like, 30s with kids, like they must be crushing it.
Right. You'd have to be like quite wealthy.
Something's going
Stay,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was our
Now
game.
that- now that we've had-
if you want to write in with your city to find out if Jared would
I
ever
move
move to your city for love.
If you want to hear my unfiltered opinion of how you live,
Yeah. I mean,
Well-
don't ask if you don't want the answer. That's what I will say.
They didn't ask you.
Oh, I asked. Sorry.
How are we gonna? Let's get into our final
Long
episode
Island.
of this
Would you move
podcast.
to Long Island for your bride?
Here's the problem with
Oh
Long
my
Island.
God, you're gonna say no?
No, well, I would move to Long Island. It is tough
got the
to get to.
Hamptons.
I know the Hamptons good. When you're on Long Island, you are on Long Island.
You take
Like-
the train. I was on Long Island this morning. Now I'm here.
It only took you the day. I don't know. I think I'm more a Westchester guy. If I was to choose my New York City suburban life, I would go up.
We are rivals.
I know, and I
Yeah.
hate to choose Westchester, and people take it very seriously. I would never, ever in my life go Jersey. But
Long Island people equate sometimes to Jersey.
I know.
That's why there's this little touchy with Westchesters, because we think you guys we think the Westchester people think we're like trash bags.
I didn't say it.
It's not. Long Island's very big. Some places are
Right.
horrible, and some places
Listen,
are great.
like anywhere, but Long Island is also its own brand of person. Like that is like
Do you think I embody the brand?
No, I think you guys do. You and the Betches do a good job, but
We do well for the name of Long Island.
There's a lot of like. That's the one thing about Long Island is there's a knowledge that there is a type.
Right.
And
there's a stigma.
There's such a stigma that like when you meet Long Island people, they have to, again, just like I was born in New York City and I went to school on Long Island.
Okay.
Same thing where like if you meet someone, oh, I'm from Long Island, but I'm not like that. Like they like immediately get ahead of it.
Okay.
I've noticed that my whole life here.
I own it. I mean, there's places that are like that. There's people that are like that. I think it's like every town.
Absolutely. I think it's like every time, but I think Long Island is louder about it.
There.
Like there is
We've got
like,
a complex. Sure.
There's a complex,
Yeah.
but then there's also like there's a fight to Long Island. Like it is like you are not like they're beach chair savers.
Your mom would fit right in.
I know. Listen,
Yeah.
this is why I understand them. Like
Okay.
I'm comforted by Long Islanders, but that is definitely like I remember when I first met a Long Islander. I was 16 years old. I didn't even know what it was.
Really?
I swear to God, I had
guess
no-
you're not from New York. If you're not from New
Not
York,
from
you
New York.
wouldn't know.
Why would
Yeah.
I know as a
Right.
kid? Like I just
Yeah.
to Boston people, to people from the area, from Massachusetts, it's New Yorkers.
Right.
Like New Yorkers, they're
We'll-
such New Yorkers.
we'll take that, yeah.
Right. It was
Yeah.
like it is such a like, kid brother thing. The Boston mindset is like that. Those New Yorkers, and it's like when Target came out. Oh, in New York they call it Target. Like they're fancy. They think highly of themselves.
Right.
We kind of think of you as our Westchester.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I guess
so-
everyone's someone's Westchester.
Right. Everyone is someone. So, so like the New Yorkers. And then I remember I was 16. I met my first Long Islander. I was like, what is that? Like, I was
Well, it's
like,
weird. We say on Long Island, not
Right.
in Long Island.
online.
Online.
When you go to line,
Yeah,
we're
we're going-
waiting online.
Online. Aunt, not
Yeah,
aunt.
no. Well, Boston's aunt.
I know what I'm saying. We're
Yeah.
aunt.
Aunt's most places.
Is it? Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
I think
that. Okay.
so.
Yeah.
We say rum instead of room.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard you say that.
I never had a Boston accent. I never really.
I'm sure there's someone who disagrees with you.
Someone thinks I do. But
Yeah.
I think I get.
I don't think I have a Long Island accent, but other people think I do.
I wouldn't think of you as having a lot.
Mike's got a Long Island accent more than
Little
I do.
bit.
Little
I
bit.
agree.
Yeah. Mike's got, and he knows that.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling him anything he doesn't know.
All right, let's play
Anyway,
Icky or
let's
Picky.
do it. All right.
UUP@betches.com. Icky or Picky, basically, you are ending it with someone. Were you being a little bicky, or was it a real ick?
Yes. 25 minutes in. Let's start.
Let's jump right
Let's
in.
do it. Okay.
On a Friday special
Yes.
quickie,
Which you can listen to any day of the week that you please.
even in Buffalo. J&J, I've always wondered if I was an asshole for getting the ick after this awkward encounter. I met this guy on a dating app. We had some great conversations. We spoke a lot before we finally met up. The first time we met, he made me sushi, and it was actually really good. What would you think if a guy's like, hey, let's go out? You know what? Instead of us going out, come on over. I'll make you some sushi.
First date.
First date sushi.
First date. I would say I don't want to go to your apartment on the first date. Mike's made me sushi on a like 5th date.
What did he make?
He had like a little sushi maker thing.
Really?
Yeah.
And you sat and watched as he made the sushi?
We made it together. It was like an activity.
Was it good?
It was okay.
Was it
bad.
fun? Were you happy
Yeah,
to
it was
have
like
this
cute.
date?
I thought it was like cute. Maybe it wasn't 5th date. It might have been like 2 months in.
So it's a good date,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, I thought it was cute.
Where do you go? Like the sushi store?
There's like a special like Japanese supermarket I think that you can go to, and
This
like
is
he had like
amazing.
a sushi roller. Maybe he did it for all the girls. I don't know.
Here's the thing about making sushi for a woman.
Yeah,
You have laid down, I am for real.
like
There is no
you're gonna
way
marry me?
around. Right. Well, I am looking for a relationship. You can't make someone sushi and then have sex and then be like, hey, I'm not really ready.
That's true.
You're
Yeah.
making fucking sushi. You bought the supplies. You
We're all
bought
in.
bamboo.
Yes, should come with an engagement ring.
It should.
Yeah.
The second time we hooked up, and unfortunately his manhood, which was much smaller than I had ever encountered, but he made me feel good and we had a great time together. So I thought that I shouldn't be shallow and should definitely look past it. Okay. The third time, the way that was written.
Yeah.
So we had a small penis.
That's what
Is
I'm
that what
hearing.
it is?
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
I
but
mean,
she's saying he had a small penis, but he got her off in other ways, and so it was fine.
To me, even the telling of that story to me, I'm like, what an asshole.
I mean, I guess it's something you would take into account.
I guess you would acknowledge it, but like, I don't know, the manhood to
it would have to
penis
be
correlation.
It would have to. Yeah, I don't like that.
It's
She
kind
calls
of
it that.
right. If I think there's a female version of this that wouldn't be,
Of course,
nice.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's nice, but like, and again, I think that like, for her to mention it, I would imagine it would have to be significant.
fine. But I'd rather it be he had a small penis, but he got me off than
Right.
his manhood.
Yeah, I don't like calling it that. That's not very nice.
Right.
Fair.
If I don't know.
Right.
It's okay,
the essence of his masculine identity was
was a
little small.
like what?
That's fair. That's fair.
Essence of his masculine identity. Ooh, if he's listening right
Ouch,
now, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
The third time we went out, we went on a hike. How could he even make it up the mountain with that small cock of his?
This guy is
was-
looking for a relation hike date.
Hike date. This guy's going for it.
Yeah.
And he got her off. It was a pretty popular trail, and there were a lot of people that day. Before we got out of his car, he told me that since he was pretty pale, he would be carrying an umbrella to protect himself from the sun.
All right, now I'm starting to become on her side.
You can't have a small penis and
carry an
a
umbrella.
sun umbrella
On a hike.
on a hike the whole day.
I get it. Yeah.
I immediately asked what was wrong with sunscreen. He said he didn't like applying it. I immediately got the ick, and I could feel myself wanting to pull away from him when he tried to hold my hand and kiss me. Well, he's got one hand on the umbrella.
Yeah.
I felt embarrassed every time we walked by someone on the trail. Hey. Hey. How you doing?
It's not the most masculine look. I will
It's a
give her that.
miscalculation.
Yeah.
I felt embarrassed every time we walked by someone on the trail. After this date, I ghosted him because I had no idea how to approach
That's
the
not
situation.
nice.
Yeah. When I told my friend, she said that I was being a jerk, and this wasn't about the umbrella, and I had clearly already decided I didn't like him after we hooked up, but didn't want to look like the bad guy for being a size matters girl.
Is there like a group of women that are size matters?
It's a movement.
The size matters.
It is a movement. They won't speak to me. Didn't even make the cut.
Didn't make the cut.
Was the umbrella a legit ick, or do you agree with my friend that I was being shallow and looking for reasons to drop him? What do you think? This is a little more nuanced than our normal icky
Yeah.
or picky, because they're asking, when did the ick happen?
Right.
And-
At the first thing or the second. I actually think she went out with him again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it was that she wasn't being. I think it maybe like that was something in the back of her head. But these are things that are cumulative. Each thing on its own isn't necessarily a deal breaker, but maybe like you put it all together and you're feeling a certain way, just in general. Like you're feeling a certain way about the chemistry.
I am an ick detective. I know exactly what happened here.
Let's hear it.
She does not want to acknowledge that the umbrella is something she couldn't handle. So she's backtracking to small penis.
The friend is the one who's saying it's the
I know,
small
but
penis.
she's telling the story together.
Okay.
So she's like not telling the story on it. She could just say, she doesn't have to say anything other than, I went on a date with a guy and he pulled out an umbrella to take a hike because he was afraid of the sun. And I would go,
That's fine.
crazy. That's a little bit peculiar. I can understand why anyone would say, this is kind of where I was turned off. She does not really think that she will be taken seriously. So she has to add in this other thing that most women or people could put together, like a black and white example.
Right.
But then she doesn't do it all the way because she has to acknowledge she did get off and have a good time. So she's like ruining her own case.
Are you saying that she's trying to have people think she's being more reasonable by throwing in the other part?
Yes. And
but her friend is actually making it seem like she's being more superficial by talking about that part.
She has misjudged how she sounds. Mm-hmm. That's my thinking.
Okay.
Is like she thinks, and then she went to the friend, and the friend is like kind of calling her out a little bit.
Right.
And then she's like, no, come on. Well, I don't know. And she's trying to like save face. And then she comes to us and face shall not be saved.
Yeah. The umbrella alone, I think, is enough to be, I would be icked out by that.
Right. The umbrella alone, I had sex with a guy. It was okay. Then we went on a hike and he pulled out an umbrella and he looked like, Miss
Mary Poppins.
Yeah. He Mary Poppins the hike.
On an athletic endeavor, he pulls out an umbrella.
If anyone pulls out an umbrella to block the sun, I'm like, who am I with? Like, female.
It's not your vibe.
No. What are we? Little House on the Prairie? Like, what is going on here?
Put on sunscreen.
Right. Or don't. Like a man.
Well.
Get sunburned like a man.
At the same time, I would like to say, you shouldn't ghost someone.
Yeah, I think
that you've been on 3 dates with. I don't think it's nice. I think she could have said, I don't think we're the match. Wish you well.
I think bringing up penis size and why you ended it is like not very.
He doesn't know she's saying.
Well, I don't. I've never heard that and been like, I don't know.
I don't think you would break up with someone unless like they couldn't have sex because of that.
Right.
Maybe.
That's my point. It sounds it's not couth. And tacky. I'm the couthest. It's a little tacky to bring up penis size in a breakup.
I would agree. I hope she didn't. I mean, I better to ghost than to bring that up to him.
Right. Hey. So I was thinking about your penis the other day. It's just not going to make the cut.
Yeah. All 3 of these dates do sound.
He's like small penis.
Sushi. The sushi
I think
making
it's nice. This guy's making an effort.
No, I agree. Listen, I told you I was into the sushi date.
Right.
He never did it again, but
no,
I don't.
Uh-oh. Let's do an email. You ready?
Right, let's do it. I'll read it.
Go for it.
Hi, Jared and Jordana. Love the pod. The advice is really healthy and has helped me in navigating dating apps while also being a busy single mom.
Oh, I love it.
I recently met a guy that I really like, and we seem very compatible since he's a single dad and has a similar schedule to mine. He's also hot and very much my type.
Yes.
Ever since we matched, he's been texting me nonstop. It feels like he's wanting to get very deep and personal in the conversations. We've only been on 1 date, and I already know so much about him. It feels overwhelming because I have a high-pressure job and stay busy taking care of a 6-year-old. How can I tell him I can't handle this amount of texting without hurting his feelings? I don't want to turn him off or make him feel rejected, but honestly, can we save it for the date? Sincerely, a smitten but overwhelmed Betch. This is an interesting one because it's a little bit like the 3 Bears.
Yes.
Right?
A little too hot, a little too cold. Just right.
It's hard to find just the right amount of banter.
Yes.
Some people want more than others.
I know. Listen, if you want to go to listen to the benefits episode, we had a long debate about this. I do think there needs to be some texting. I do think there is a thin line, right? Mm-hmm. As we're saying, like it's tough to tell. I can understand. She's like, I don't want to hear about the nightmare you had. The reports are due by 5. She's like a busy single mom and she's got things to do. And like, also when you receive a text, sometimes you're not in the mood to like give back what's given to you and you feel kind of bad about it.
Right.
Someone writes to you about like, I haven't been able to sleep well since my mother passed. And you're like, Okay, cool.
Right.
You
I'm
can't
in a meeting.
thumbs up.
I'm in a meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it feels like you're a dick and it's hard to ignore. We're all addicted to our phones. I see a little one and I'm like, I got to get rid of that one.
Yeah. And I think she's saying that it's one thing. I think it can be annoying to have someone text you constantly, but it is a different level of almost not reading the room if someone is texting you intimate details when you've only been on one date.
Right.
I don't know how the date went, if it felt like they were like, there was a real sense of intimacy and closeness.
She liked him.
She did like him.
She liked him.
But I do think it's like a little bit of a red flag if someone is going like too hard, too soon in a mode. Again, she's not even upset about what he's saying, but she's like over text.
Right.
It does seem a little bit like, shouldn't you know that this conversation is like is a better conversation for in person? Like we haven't really built up that thing yet.
I'm for that. I completely agree with you. And also, I've been in the scenario where the texting has gotten ahead. Like we almost can't catch up to the texting.
Right.
Like we have to go on like 50 dates to get to where we are texting. And that sometimes can become like too much of a mountain to climb. Like you're like almost lying to the person because you're like, mentally you're here,
Right.
and then physically you're like down here.
They know so much about you.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, if we get physical, that means we're up here.
Right, because we already did the mental stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So where can we go from here other than we are in this right away in a relationship? Like I've had that happen. I think I have a good line for them. And if this is happening the way it seems like it's happening, where like this guy's sending these really serious texts, I don't have the time for it. I'm a busy mom. I'm like glancing at the phone and suddenly we're talking about his dog that passed 6 years ago.
Right.
Put a pin in this for our date.
You say that?
Yeah.
Do you think that sounds a little like insulting?
If it is, then it is. Then they can't handle it. And
would you actually say that to someone?
I've had that said to me.
Oh, you've had people
I've said that to. I've said let's table this for the date.
Dave said this to you. You had this said to you.
I've had this said to me.
Right.
I've said it to the women.
Okay.
And it's been very nice.
And you just say put a pin in it. They say,
well, not put a pin in it.
I haven't been able to sleep since my grandmother died.
Right.
And you say put a pin in it.
I'm so sorry. We got to put a pin in this so that we can talk about this more on the date.
Okay.
Again, like instead of like,
Is
my
it awkward
dreams
after
have been
that?
weird. No, it's actually like moved on weirdly.
Right.
But I'm having like, these are good text conversations that like get to that point and you go,
could you say it more tactfully? Like, I don't know.
Shut the fuck up. I got
like that's a crazy story. I am super swamped at work. I would love to hear more about it on our date later, though.
Right. That's better.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it.
I don't know if I was telling someone I mean, I don't think I would, but if I did,
right,
and someone was like, put a pin in it, I think I would be like, I'm the most annoying person in the world. Like, this person hates me.
I think acknowledging it's a lot.
Yeah.
So, hey, there's a lot here to unpack.
Yeah.
And I'm too busy to give you
my full attention right now.
The energy this deserves. The energy this deserves.
Sure.
Feels
Yeah,
nice.
that's good. That's
the energy this deserves. Let's put a pin on it. Circle back next week.
Yes.
Now I get my pin line.
I think with the context, that's good.
Hey, tough stuff, dude.
Dislike.
Put a pin on
dislike the comment.
Grandma's dead. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I get what they're. I hope they feel validated because I get what they're talking about.
No, I agree. That's like it's a little bit annoying, and she likes the person, so I think that like it's worth saying. It's worth saying something,
right? And I think like the mistake that gets made is like, hey, I'm super busy. Like, chill. Like you could come off callous,
right?
Easily.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm some note on what they said, and then be like, this deserves more attention. Like, let's talk about it. I like that this deserves more attention.
This deserves more attention than I can give over text.
Right.
But excited to.
And if the person doesn't understand that, then I think that's a different
right.
story.
Then you have to get into the thought of like they don't have awareness or they're trying to like create this false companionship that isn't.
That's where it gets like a love bombing type vibe.
Right. So hope this helped.
We did it.
We solved dating again.
We'll be back on Wednesday.
Boom.
Kate McAuliffe is our senior producer. Our editor is Emily Freed. Candice Maniga is our senior social producer. Our associate producer is Will Maxwell. Additional production help from Shannon Jimenez Sasson. Be sure to follow us at u.up.podcast and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.